He's a father, a brother and icon to those that know him. A man that has the gift of advice to those that respect what he says. A man that will not sugarcoat anything. You can agree or disagree, but he is just someone who gives out great advice. Let's Talk About It is the name of the show. Here is your host, The Item.
doing out there? Y'all doing all right? We gonna get started here in a minute. Let y'all groove with this for a little bit. Hopefully y'all having a good week, a good day. know I am. All right, let's get started, shall we? Oh, it's been a day. I want to welcome you out to the show. I am the Icon. The show is called Let's Talk About It. Today is going to be a little bit of a different show. Not too much so. I'm going to read a letter. Just a few things that we had some listeners basically wrote short letters. So I'm going to try to answer their short letters along with giving feedback. And then just some things I just want to talk about. So probably not in that order, but just some things that, because a lot of people say, well, you don't really talk about the world much. I don't really talk about the world that much because there's other podcasters that talk about the world. I just talk about what people want to send to me and give out good advice. So, but, I watch a lot of, I don't really watch too much TikTok, but I do watch a lot of TikTok. And probably the reason why I'm not streaming on that platform right now is because there's a lot of bullshit that goes on in TikTok. I sit here and I scroll through some of the live feeds and listen, I know that people don't like me. That's fine. You don't have to like me. That's your decision, that's your opinion. I care, but at the same time I don't care because I do this for the people that send me letters and just want a stranger's advice. So, but it's weird because as I was scrolling on the live feed, there's this one girl I came across and immediately this person I call this person a bot, but they started rage baiting. I think that's the correct term for it. Shit, I don't know, but they started baiting and goating this girl. And she just went smooth ham, just went smooth left field. And this person was obviously doing this to her because this person knew her. I typed in comments clearly you know this person. This person knows you. She's like, no, I don't know this person. And then when you pull up on the profile is it's a bot profile. So apparently people can make profiles and they can spam the shit out of you. And then they're like bots. And this guy whoever this person was rage baiting the shit out of this girl. She had every single comeback, and I just thought it was kind of weird. Here's my thing. If you watch me and you don't like what I say, that's fine. And I've read a few letters that have been people that don't like me, and that's okay. That's okay, but I'm not going to lose a moment's sleep over what you say about me, or what you think about me. You're entitled to your opinion. I don't like to judge people, even though you guys say in my podcast, well, I'm not kind of judging this person. I'm not really judging this person. I'm just trying to give out some advice. I have been told that I give out great advice. That's the reason for this podcast, And though some of the advice may be good, some of it might be bad, some of it may not be what you want to hear, but my listeners and my followers seem to disagree with some of the negative bullshit because a lot of this stuff is just really just negative stuff. And like I said, I get maybe 4 or 5 letters of hate from people. And though I read them sometimes and then sometimes I don't, but because sometimes I think my listeners don't really want to hear that, but then again, I guess I could start reading them, and I get maybe during a week, I can probably get maybe 10 letters. And to me, that's a lot. That's a lot for me because I go through them. And sometimes there was one point in time where I was getting 20 of them. And then that's when I had to rebrand my podcast because I lost my late wife. But, for the people that show me that support and losing my late wife, I was grateful for that. And I'm grateful to my fans, I'm grateful for the downloads that they give me. I'm grateful for the letters and just being able to do this. Now, getting back to this young lady who was just completely going smooth left field on this person. And then there's one girl on there is talking about, oh, you're gonna get banned off TikTok because you're cussing too much, or you're doing this, and you're doing that. She's like, I don't give a damn whoever this person is. And then she's like, well, and clearly this person knew who this person was. She clearly knew who this person was. And she was like, I don't know you. He's like, yeah, you know me. I don't know if it was a he or a she. I'm just playing off like I know what this person was thinking. She's like, yeah, you know me. He's like, I'm gonna pull up on you and all this other shit. I mean, that kind of shit, it's just ridiculous. And I'm not a drama type of guy. Though I read letters, and letters may be filled with some kind of drama, that's just not me, you know. As I sit here and I look at my feed, you know, people can comment and say what they're gonna say. It is up to you on how you want to respond to those comments. And I think for me, you know, I've been called everything up underneath the sun. You know, I'm ugly. You know, my teeth kind of stick out too far. I've been called Mr. Ed. Not sure if you guys know who Mr. Ed was, but none of that stuff bothers me. You know, I'm a chill, laid-back kind of guy. So you can say anything you want about me. You can say anything about my family or whatever. That kind of shit just does not get to me. The only way I go ham is if you physically show up to my crib and, you know, you either talk shit about my kids or say something about my kids or, you know, my late wife. But some people get a pass because some people don't really know who my late wife was. So, and though I try not to go down that road, and I don't like going down that road, is because it's not even necessary. Because I think the problem is that people spend more time online, you know, rage baiting or trying to clout chase or trying to get at people. And for what? What do you do it for? I mean, clearly it doesn't make you happy. You know, when you see people that post stuff online, some of this stuff is true, some of it's false, some of it's kind of in between. You know, they take a little bit of the truth, a little bit of the negative, and they kind of like put it together to make it sound good. Now, me personally, I post videos, but I just post like, you know, stuff that is fun to me, stuff that is like positive stuff, you know, because I'm not all about that. You know, I think it's enough negative bullshit in this world that why keep going down that road? You know, back in my day, and I know that a lot of people say, well, back in your day, and we may have some listeners on here who hasn't experienced that, but I am a 70s baby. You know, I don't look like I'm older, but I am. I'm 48 years old. But back in my day, there was a sense of decorum that came with people. And when I say that came with people, I say that, you know, if you were being rude or disrespectful to somebody, then you would, especially if you were a kid, then you would get a backhand to your mouth. I mean, they'd smack the parent, anybody could smack shit out of you because why, they're an elder. But now you can't do that. You know, I think this world is it's so soft. And I think part of the reason is because we have these new generation of parents that come in that they want to try to rewrite the rules for the kids. They want to be their kid's friend. They want to try to give them the shit they didn't have. Now, I don't do that. I'm not that kind of parent. If I see something that I don't agree with, I will keep quiet unless the situation starts going smooth left field. You know, I was at work the other day, and this lady had came in and she was talking so much shit to her child. And the way she was talking to this child, and I thought, okay, clearly this can't be that bad of a situation. But I didn't say anything. You know, I kept my mouth shut and I just continued to, you know, do my job. But the kid like had hauled off and just did this like scream and, oh, I want this, I want that. You know, you're going to give me this. Because then I was thinking like, okay, well, maybe this is kind of warranted because, you know, this kid is clearly a handful to this lady. And I mean, when I say handful, this kid would run around the store, you know, terrorize the store. And I was like, ma'am, you need to get your child because, you know, not only are we not responsible for him, but your child can walk out the door and then what? She's like, I know, I'm just having a hard time with him. And, you know, there's not really much I can offer her because she's having a hard time with her kid. All I had to say was that you just need to get your child, maybe put him in a basket. And I I walked over to the kid and I was like, hey, mommy's having a bad day, or not having a bad day, but mommy's not having a good time. Can you might want to behave for her. I was like, and I asked the mother, said, well, can I get your kid something if he behaves in the store? And she was like, yeah. And I said, listen, I'll make a deal with you. If you behave while mommy's shopping, I won't let you pick out any toy. And let's keep this in mind, everything in the store is like cheap anyway. So, and that made that kid's day. So the kid behaved. He had a few outbursts because the mother, I can tell she was going through it. And I'm not sure where the father was at, but that's not really for me to say. But she was really going through it with this kid. And I can tell she's having a really hard time. It's like I think she's a first time parent because this is the only kid that she had. But the kid, the crazy thing is when the kid got in line, he was like, where's the guy that promised me a toy? And I was like, oh, I'm right here. I said, can we walk back and get the toy? So I took the young man, we went back and got the toy, let him pick out his toy, and I bought him the toy. So, and I said, now listen, when your mommy comes back in the store, if you see me here, as long as you behave, I will get you a toy, another toy. And so he high-fived me, and she said thank you, and it looked like she just wanted to cry. But because, listen, I know that some of us are parents, and I know that being a parent, especially a single parent, is a difficult task. Now, me personally, I wasn't made a single parent until maybe a few years ago, but my kids were a little bit older. But I know that as being a mother, a single mother, it's kind of hard for these women. And I know you guys want to try to give them the best possible care that you possibly can give them. But I'm a fan of the old school. I will whoop ass in a minute. I don't give a damn how old my kid is. I will still beat your ass. You do something wrong, I will still beat your ass. And that's kind of what some of what we're missing today, because there's a video going around on social media. And this video is old, but it still has some kind of merit or some kind of ring to it. And you guys may have seen this video. The video was of a young girl. She had two boys in the house. I don't know if it was the dad or the uncle, but he came in. He said, look, two men in the house. I told you, no men in the house. No men in the house. I told you, no men in the house. So, and she just nonchalantly, she didn't give a damn. She kept texting on her phone. Dad went over there and just started smacked the shit out of her. Just like, I told you, no men in the house. No men in the house. And she still kept holding that phone. I'd probably say by the second hit, that phone was out of her hand. And he's like, I told you, no men in the house. Look, two boys in the house. And the crazy thing is, which was the right thing to do, was to go after his daughter. Because the young boys that were standing there, it's like they were frozen awe. Like they couldn't move. I mean, dude wasn't that big to begin with, but I guess that they didn't want to test him because they seen the ass whooping that she was getting, and dude was just smacking her. And listen, I know a lot of parents are online, oh, we shouldn't have hit her like that. The hell he shouldn't have. Because number one, she was in a blanket and she had a bra on. One boy had his shirt off. The other boy, I don't know, it looked like he was about to get ready to start going in on her. And I think that's the kind of parenting that we kind of miss. I mean, I don't miss it because I still do it. My daughters know. I don't play around with that. But I think as parents, that if you're a parent and your child is getting to that age where you think they're getting out of control, it's not the time to shower your child with gifts. It's not. It's really not. You need to be a parent first and a friend later, because I'm not a friend to none of my kids. I'm a parent. I may not have it right all the time, but damn it, I have it right maybe 85% of the time. So I encourage those parents that if you're having issues with your child, try to find an outlet. I mean, if you know the difference between a beating and an ass whooping, like child abuse and an ass whooping, then yeah, you know that. But I don't do child abuse. I do ass whoopings. That's who I am. I was brought up from that way when I was younger, and I will continue that tradition until the day I die. But that's what that is. So, and like I said, this podcast is just kind of just me talking about different avenues and stuff like that, because And I do have some stuff I want to read off to some of my listeners that emailed me in. But we're going to switch gears a little bit. But I'm just going to say that if you're a parent and you're struggling with how to raise your child, I would encourage you to get with a parent or a grandparent or a parent that you grew up with that you knew that did not play. Because that's the kind of parent that we need now. You know, we see too many kids out here doing like stupid shit. You know, they're getting into like doing dumb stuff. You know, this stuff is social media. Listen, back in my day, we didn't have social media. We didn't have none of this shit. Hell, I think, I'm not even sure when Facebook got here. But we didn't have the power of social media. We had the power of getting your ass whooped when you disrespected somebody, especially an elder or a parent, because we knew better. But that's just me. So, but getting back to, I don't know how I got off this subject, but getting back to the young lady that was on TikTok. And I mean, you see a lot of shit on TikTok. You see a lot of crazy shit on TikTok. I think TikTok is a platform that is just downright, it's good, and it can be good because when you're on TikTok, they have a lot of good information before the news media outlets have it. So I don't even watch the news because of this dumbass president that we have, who's clearly taking us down. It's taking the United States to hell, and that's just me. Now, and I know that we may have some supporters that may be in the live feed, but that's fine. You guys can support him all you want. I just don't like the guy. I don't hate him because hate is not in my heart. And I know there's a lot of people wishing him ill will and death. I don't do that neither because I believe in karma. What goes around comes around. You wish death upon somebody, and before you know it, you right in the grave with them, or going to one place and you going to the other. I don't know. I'm just saying. But the reason I don't talk about issues that are going on in the world is because there's 1,000,001 podcasts that are doing the same damn story. You know, you go on TikTok and people are doing the same story, but they're just wording it differently. I mean, it's fine because every audience is different, and I can respect that, and I'm good with that. But that's just not me, you know. And one listener asked if I listen to other podcasts. I do. Some I can get with and some I can't, but that's just my opinion because not everybody likes my show, and I'm good with that. And I'm not saying they're bad podcasts. They're just not. It's just not the type of show I will listen to. So there's 1,000,001 podcasters worldwide. You know, everybody's doing their own thing, and I'm grateful for the listeners that come in and listen to me and to allow me to take up their ear for about an hour. I'm good with that, you know. But me personally, I just like talking about when people email me stuff, and because believe it or not, when we first started the show, me and my late wife, we were just going to talk about life, and we did for the first 10 episodes we talked about life. But then we started getting emails, and I said, why not? Let's just change the format here. Let's just do something different. You know, when people email us in, let's talk about their letters, because people wanted us to talk about, you know, their situation on air. Now, some would leave names and some wouldn't, and that's good. That's fine with me. But and that's how I changed it over to, you know, it was Endeavor Empire, because Endeavor Empire just stood for me and my family, because I have an empire of kids. And then I, you know, kind of rebranded the show to Let's Talk About It, because I want to just talk about what people would send me. And believe it or not, I got a huge response out of that. A huge response. But then, like I said, when my wife passed, I kind of took a hiatus because she wasn't here. And I do have a few shows with her on them that I still listen to because I kind of miss her. And if you guys want to hear those shows, you can just let me know. But they're all on YouTube. You can go to my page on YouTube, and they're like the earlier shows. So I've been doing podcasting for, I think, roughly 3 or 4 years, give or take the hiatus that I took. And that's how I came to the show Let's Talk About It, because when I listened to other podcasts, I was like, well, they're not doing this. You know, they're talking about the celebrity gossip, or they're talking about what's going on in the media, or they're talking about the presidency, or they're talking about rap music or anything like that. That's why when I do my show, a lot of people say your show is different because you tackle not really tackle per se, but I do talk about the issues that when people send me letters, that I try to help them out the best way I can. And that's good for me. That's good for me, and hopefully that's good for them. Listen, I've gotten a lot of positive letters from some listeners that I tried to help out, and they said, well, thank you. I took your advice. I did this. I did that. Now, granted, I do like to have fun on my show. I do. I love having fun on my show. I like to live, laugh, and love. In that order. Or maybe it should be the other way around. I don't know. But I do this because, like I said, when I go to work and I talk to customers, that's either my daytime job or my nighttime job. They're like, well, you really give out some really good advice. And I'm not sure how I got this, but maybe it's because of the life experiences that I've had. And then I just don't really let a lot of things get to me. I really don't. So I really enjoy who I am. Sorry, this person's really throwing me off. But in my feed. But when I talk to people, they say, and this is before I even did the podcast, again, I'm not sure how I got this way. I think I just took my life lessons because, believe it or not, I've only gotten into 2 fights during my whole lifetime, my whole childhood through my adulthood. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But if you cross my family or if you do something to my kids, then hell is coming with me, and I'm going to try to put you 6 feet under. You're going to be pushing up daisies. So let's keep it real clear. I don't like to threaten nobody, but when you come for me and mine, then that's it. That's the consequences. That's the consequences. That's what it is. But at the same time, what I try to do is I just try to give people the best advice that I can possibly give them. And I try to put myself in their situation. Though I've had some experiences like that where they have been, or I have been in their situation, and I try to take it, not every situation that I've been in, but maybe I would say maybe 25% of the listeners that email me, I've been in their situation. I've had bad relationships. I stalked a girl before. Yes, I stalked a girl before. I did. I'm not gonna even lie. I stalked her because I didn't want to let her go. And I stalked her to a point where I think that this was a girl I was telling you about, that she was married and I didn't really care. But my sisters and my mom made sure that I cared. And this was before I had kids. This is when I was young and dumb. And, but I would stalk her to a point where I would this is when she used to live in a all-white town, which is what we call, it wasn't really not that super racist, because it wasn't really a racist town. It's just that it's one of those small towns that, everybody's white, and I was in the next town over, so it wasn't really, and even where I stayed wasn't predominantly black, but it was kind of like maybe 50% white and 40 or, no, I want to say it was maybe 75% white and 25% black. And this is before I crossed over to doing the whole I don't date American women thing. But I've learned my lesson, and I don't have any ill will towards any women in the U.S. It's just that now it's so much different than what I used to do back in the day. And some of you guys maybe can relate to that. Some of you guys could probably relate and say, well, I don't date women in the U.S. because of they're always fixated on money. We see the videos on TikTok, we see the videos on Facebook, IG, Snap, whatever, where these women are just completely gold diggers. I'm not saying all women are like that, and I have not been saying that. But like I said, after my wife died, and my therapist urged me to get out there to, just get out there in the world, just to make friends. And I tried to make friends. I really did. I tried. But I'm just a person that just does not like drama. I don't. I really don't. And I can't say that enough, because I just don't like drama. Hang on for a minute. Y'all know I gotta get a sip of my tea. My tea! It ain't no red diamond, but it's Arizona, but it's still green tea. Oh, that's good tea. You know, if I haven't told you guys enough, you know, Yeti makes these coolers that, because I was going to Walmart and I bought the cheaper version, and this damn thing stays cold like damn near 10 to 12 hours a day. And I was in my truck, I was like, damn, this thing is still cold. What the hell? Man. And it's a Yeti. Y'all see that Yeti? And this thing stays cold like all damn day. No ice, no nothing. If it's cold, it's chill. I don't know what the hell they put in this thing, but the damn thing stays cold. But getting back to my story. I forgot what I was talking about. Damn it. What was I talking about? I got so wrapped up in the cooler. But I forgot what I was talking about. I think I was talking about this girl or whatever. But in any event, I really forgot what I was talking about. Okay, so, well, we'll just pick it up from someplace else. But, oh, okay, so I was talking about women. So, and this is when I was younger. You know, when I was younger, you know, I dated a lot of women, but now we're in the 2000s. See, back then, a lot of you guys don't know that we didn't have, and some of you guys on my feed do know that we didn't have a lot of social media. So there was a lot of just back and forth with notes. You know, we would pass notes and say, hey, do you like me? You want to go to the dance with me? You want to go out sometime? You want to hang out? You want to do something? That was our social media, was passing notes. And like I said, I'm not sure when social media got here. Hold on, you know what? Let's look that up. When did Facebook arrive on the scene? When was... Oh, okay. So... Yeah, so Facebook wasn't created until 2004, but by then we had I don't know if you guys can remember, we had MySpace. So MySpace was in 2003. MySpace came before Facebook, and MySpace was like so popular. I mean, MySpace was like, oh my God. And that was before and we didn't have all the shit that we have in social media now. But when MySpace arrived on the scene, you know, we didn't really know what the hell it was. We just thought it was just, you know, because social networking wasn't a really big popular thing, you know. Hold on. But when MySpace was here, Facebook was just getting started. Now, it was founded and launched in August 1st of 2003. And it was like the best thing ever. But later, it kind of died down in 2008 and 2011 because of Facebook. Facebook came in and just like buying up every damn thing. And, you know, when Facebook was on the scene, there was that one guy. Who was that one guy? Was his name Tom? Yeah, his name is Tom. Tom was the only person, I was the only person on your friends list. But social media has gotten so popular that it's just ridiculous. And like I said, you see all the videos online, and I don't even know if half the shit is even real. But, you know, you see the women doing the gold digger skit, and then you see the men doing their little skit, and I don't know if it's real or if it's not real. But me personally, I don't know. I can't really decide for it, but I kind of watch those videos and I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe it is real. But I'm not saying every woman's like that. I'm really not. And I would always say that. And then they got this new thing called the balloon pop. And I know you guys have seen the balloon pop. I don't really watch that show. I know it's on YouTube. I only catch clips of it online. And I gotta say, it's just not that exciting for me. It really isn't. it's just, people coming in, you pop the balloon if you like them, if you don't like them, and then they set you up on a date. Now, I don't know. Because, see, back in my day, we had dating shows, and then you had talk shows, and like I said, that was our social media. That was all of our social media. But when, like I said, I didn't expect things to stay the way they were, but I got a feeling if social media would have never arrived on the scene, maybe this world would be a lot better off, because you see a lot of stuff on social media, and a lot of stuff that's just really unexplainable, and a lot of stuff that you just really can't unsee. I mean, Jesus, some of these countries, they post things like that's just ridiculous, but they want to try to, because if you go to the Philippines, like they have Facebook Lite. They don't really have the full Facebook, which is weird, which is what I thought, because in the Philippines, I think they're governed on what they do and what they post online. But let's be honest, Facebook is everywhere now. I mean, I'm looking at Facebook right now, and you can see like videos of any and everything that you want to see. But it's just crazy the way social media is blown up. Now, like I said, and now Facebook has a dating site, which is again awkward in itself. I can't believe that neither, but they do, because I haven't clicked on it because I don't want to click on it because I don't need it. But maybe somebody else does. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Call me old-fashioned, okay? Call me old-fashioned. Call me a dinosaur or a fossil, but I like the old ways better, and then this thing with the president, again, I don't talk about politics that much on my podcast, because again, there are 1,000,001 podcasters doing the same exact shit. It's just not me. But I will say this about the president: he's an idiot. He's a dumbass idiot. And for the people that follow this guy blindly, knowing that you know what you know, and you still choose to follow him, well, that's your decision. I'm not calling y'all dumb, not calling y'all stupid. I'm just saying, at some point in life, you got to sit back and think. And there's a lot of people that turn their lives, I want to say that turned away from him, that said, well, yeah, what he did, he did that. Let's case in point, the Epstein files. Now, the crazy thing is that, when a lot of people on like these vloggers or these media outlets, they go and say, well, they'll try to flip it around and say, well, how would you feel if Joe Biden was, sexually assaulting girls and this, that, and the other? Like, well, he should be in jail. Oh, wait, it's not Joe Biden, it was Donald Trump. Well, I think what I was trying to say, and that's just ridiculous. How in the hell can anybody support a man that that he sexually abused women and probably had some kind of instance dealing with children or whatever? How in the hell can you support that? How? I understand that. And what I try to tell people is, I think of it if this is your daughter. This is somebody's child, somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's cousin, somebody, whoever. And these women get sexually assaulted. I don't like that. I don't condone none of that. It's hard enough going on social media and looking at these young women, but then when you go to the comments, you see all these men, these grown-ass men commenting on children, talking about, oh my God, baby, I want to marry you, I want to do this with you. Dude, and then half these fucks probably even have children. That's the other sick thing about it. It's not like she's 18 or she's legally above age to consent. You're talking about somebody else's child. Now, what if that was your child? Because let's be honest. My daughters are on social media, but I ain't got nothing to worry about because they got brothers. And the brothers are older, and the brothers follow their sisters online, because what daddy can't do, they will do. So I'm not really worried about that. But for those ones that don't have the protections that my girls have, these men are like, it's just sick, it's just disgusting. Take like Chris Hansen. I mean, I think that is all in itself not diabolical, but that's just ridiculous. Because the men that get caught saying this stuff to these underage girls, it's crazy. Here's the thing, and I don't excuse nobody's behavior because of this, because if you're a man and you are fantasizing about having sex with a child, you seriously need to get some mental help. And when you get the mental help, you need to stay the hell away from kids. Because do I think you can get cured? Maybe. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But I would pray in God that you would get cured, because that's just a rough road to go down. Because we all know what they do to child molesters in prison. And if you are caught with an underage person in prison, let's just say it's not pretty. It's not pretty. And that's what I understand about these men that comment about these younger women online. You know, they're saying, oh my God, show me this, show me that. And the Russians, oh my God, the Russians, I think thank God they're in Russia, because, and I know there's a lot of men on here, because I don't know what it is with the Russian culture, where their kids always have to be in underwear and they're posting it online. Now, unfortunately, we can see that, and I get it. It's not made for us to like sit there and gawk and just say, "Oh my God, she's in her panties." That's their culture. That's their culture. I mean, of course, we can't do that shit over here, because the minute you do that, then FBI, anybody's at your damn door talking about, oh, you posted this, you post this, that, and the other. And it's not even like that. Now, granted, we have to understand other cultures are different than what we're used to. What we find offensive and disgusting is they probably don't know. And that's what their culture is. So unless they're doing something inappropriate, then that part needs to be taken a look at. And then what we also see is that, I mean, I just don't understand it, because there's a lot of crazy things on social media that I just don't really sit well with me. But then again, I just look past it. I look past it and I keep scrolling. And though you say you don't want to see this shit, the shit still keeps popping up. Because you can excuse it and you can dismiss it. You can say, I don't want to see this content again. Well, they're going to push something right back on you. That's why I say you got to have control over yourself. Now, though I have daughters and I have kids, I would never in my mind sit there and think about, oh my God, what can I do with her? No, man, no. Think about if this was your child, if this was your daughter. How would you feel? I'm going to tell you right now, I'd level the damn earth. Me and the devil, we going to ride out on some fools. And you know, that's the crazy thing. You know, people hide behind these computers and they thank God Chris Hansen is doing what he's doing. And then there's another person that's doing what they're doing too, but they're kind of doing it in a maybe not so good way, but you know, whatever. I don't really see but whatever. That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, I think Chris Hansen, what he's doing a good thing. Because we need more people like him. And then we also need more men like this father who stepped up and, you know, smacked the shit out of his daughter for having 2 boys in the house. Because you understand, we are men. We need to protect our young women, because young women are so easily manipulative when it comes to either men trying to groom them and say this, that, and the other. I don't get none of that. I don't get it. I don't. But I'm very protective of my daughters, and so are their brothers. So, like I said, they have 4 older brothers, which I ain't worried about nothing. You feel me? I ain't worried about shit. But for those who don't have older brothers or older men looking out for them, we got to kind of be the protector. If we see something, we say something, you know? So, I don't know. That's just me. That's just my take on it. But social media can be a good place and it can be a dangerous place. Luckily, I talk to my kids about the powers of social media and how the influence of social media and what they should and what they shouldn't be doing on social media. Because if you have daughters and they get some men that's chatting them, well, I need to know that. Yeah, of course, my daughters, they do tell me. And if one don't tell me, the other one damn sure will tell me. And then, you know, we have to have a talk about that. There's nothing wrong with talking to your kids. And this is the thing that most parents don't understand these days. When you have kids, especially daughters, if you raise your daughters but you don't have to talk with them about life, about what to expect out of life and how their bodies are changing, well, they're going to find it from someplace else. You know, I'm a father first, and I'm a tough father. I love my kids. I love all my kids. But I will not stand by and let them go down that hole, that rabbit hole of darkness. I won't let them do it. Now, can I be there for them all the time? I can. But as a parent right now, I can teach them and I can show them and I can tell them what to expect in this cold ass world, because this world is not kind. It's not kind. But when I talk to my daughters, you know, I tell them, and I tell my sons too. Okay, hold on, this thing's not clicking on. And I tell my sons too. So, but luckily for me, they understand it and they get it. But as parents, we need to protect our daughters, and we need to teach our men how to be good men. And once we teach them that, because I do see a lot of good in this world, though social media plays a huge part in this world, I think that for the most part, some of the young people that are coming up now are starting to understand, you know, the powers and the responsibility that comes with social media. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Now, and then when you're trying to offer positive encouragement to those in need, because let's be honest with you, there's a lot of people on here that sit here and say, oh, I'm ugly, I'm this, that, and the other. But when they say that they're ugly, but when you go to their profile, they got like damn near 10,000 friends or whatever. How in the hell do you think you're ugly? And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Now, some of the stuff is maybe just for maybe attention or clout chasing. I don't do neither. But I do go, when I do see a profile, and if a young lady's having a bad day, I like to just offer positive encouragement. I'll take a quote from Pinterest, or if I'll give a quote for myself, and I'll give her that quote. And for the most part, I think that works. And even for my daughters, you know, when they have their friends come over and their friends are kind of down and this, that, and the other, you know, because here's the crazy thing. So y'all know I have two teenage daughters. Of course, y'all see them in the background. But I have two teenage daughters. And the crazy thing is their friends come over here. And though I meet every parent that comes over, because I want the parents to know who I am and what I'm about. And though my sons are here, well, maybe, no, two of my sons are here, they know that I don't play. So I think that as a parent, that's what you should instill when you're talking to these parents. Because listen, and though when my daughters come over and they have their friends come over, they do have to dress appropriate, but then again, they're girls, so I don't really care. And I'm either in my room or on my computer playing my game. But never in my mind would it cross me to say, well, hey, you know, you looking kind of cute. No, hell no. You're my daughter's friend, and I don't cross that line. Because as a parent, I have to think, what if this is my daughter? And somebody told my daughter that. Now, they may say, well, Miss Song, you like my hair? Yes, your hair is very beautiful. Because my daughter and her best friend, they dyed their hair. One dyed her hair pink, the other dyed her hair blue, but whatever. But that's the kind of parent I am. I don't like to get involved unless I really need to. Now, if they ask for advice, you know, with their parents or studies at school like that, then yes, I am going to try to steer you in the correct direction. I'm not that creepy dad that just wants to hang around with his daughters and her daughter's friends. I'm not that guy. I'm clearly not that guy. Never will be that guy. If I do that, y'all have my permission to whoop my ass or do whatever. But that's just not me. Because, and I think this is how I got this way is because I was raised with nothing but women. You know, I was raised by my mother. I was the oldest boy. I had a lot of sisters. And then when my brother didn't get here until 93, by that time I was damn near somewhat grown. But that's where my respect for women comes in at, you know. I don't like seeing women being abused. I don't like women being called the bitch with the B word, which is bitch. I don't like it. Now, even though women will use it on themselves or each other, hey girlfriend, hey bitch, yeah bitch, you bitch, yeah. I guess it's okay. It's okay. But my sisters don't do that because I don't like my boys. They don't do that. My boys don't ever call a female a bitch, ever. Unless you're quoting something from a movie or you're joking about it, but they've never done that. And I think for me, that's where the big respect for me comes in at, because as a father, I want my girls to go out and be treated with respect. Just like when their friends come over here, I want their friends to be treated with respect. Now, as I said before, there was an incident with my daughter and her little friend. They went to the park. They decided they wanted to get tossed for the night. They did some drinking or whatever. And let's be honest, as parents, when we did it, it was like, okay. But now that these kids are doing it, and they did it once and then they didn't like it. So that was it. But I think I was more pissed off because my daughter was upstairs. She was passed out drunk. And she was like, oh, she's right here, Dad. She's right here. It's like, no, she's not. Apparently, this young lady was still down at the park. So my sister, which luckily stays next door, seen her walking the street and told her to bring her ass in this house. And since that day, and she was allowed to come back over because as a parent, I'm responsible for your daughters. And I don't want them to have any problems when they come over here. And I want them to be treated with respect. But I told them that, you guys are young women. Men are not kind. There are some men out there who are just downright diabolical. They don't have a brain between them. They only think with one thing, and that's the thing between their legs. Now, did I think that way when I was coming up? No, I did not. I didn't. Like I said, a lot of people still think I'm gay, which clearly I'm not. But when you grow up in a house full of women and you pick up on a lot of women things, then apparently people think you're gay. Now, probably not so much as now, because now it could be construed as, oh, he's much more sensitive to women. And I am sensitive towards women. I'm very sensitive towards women. So, and like I said, growing up in a household full of women, you pick up on a lot of shit. I learned how to cook, clean, sew. I learned how to do everything that a woman can do in reference to house cleaning and chores. And then plus what I had to do as a man. And that's what made me the man I am today. And I thank my mom for that. I really do. Now, I would have never thought that I would be in the situation that I am now. And that's me being a single father. But like I said, my wife, she was a good woman. She was a good woman who I loved, she was a bundle of joy. But even with that in mind, my wife was like maybe $125, and she was a feisty little thing. She was half Italian, Lord. She dropped F-bombs like there was no tomorrow. But it's okay, though. It's okay, and it's all good. So, in any event, that's the kind of parent that I am. That's the kind of person I am. That's the kind of person that I hope that when my boys, when they have their families, that they'll instill that what I'm instilling in them, they'll instill in their kids. And I think they will, because my boys they do everything according to me. Like if they do something that I don't think I'm going to agree with, and they think about, well, what would Dad do? And that's not to say that's a bad thing. That's just to say that I want to make sure I'm making the right decision for myself, but also at the same time making my dad proud or my parents proud. And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. That's nothing wrong with that. So, but that's who I am as a male, So, though you might hear me say some cuss word, but you won't ever hear me say the word bitch unless I'm reading in a letter, which I don't really like, but I try to read their letter in all their entirety, but I don't use really a lot of cuss words, especially bitch and the F-bomb. Oh, Lord. I think bitch is such a nasty word. I mean, it's good to see on TV, but my God, it's like, Jesus, Lord, mercy. But that's the kind of parent that I am. And I have a lot of kids. And then I don't babysit my younger nieces and nephew because they're, oh Lord, they're rugrats, Jesus. even though I have 2 younger kids, but ah. But that's the kind of parent that I am. And that's the kind of parent that I strive to be. Because as a parent, we don't always get it right. And there's no such thing as a perfect parent. No such thing as a perfect parent. As a parent, we are all flawed. As a parent, we all make mistakes. So don't put yourself on a pedestal and say like you have to be this alpha omega parent that, you're the best at what you do. No. I'm not the best parent, and I let other parents know they're not the best parent. I mean, not the other parents. Let me rephrase that. I'm not the best parent, and other parents know that they may not be the best. But then you have those 1% of parents who think they're just doing any and everything that they possibly can the right way, and they think what they're doing is okay. And that's fine if you think that's okay, but I don't believe in rewarding my kids with anything. Like, they don't get a participation trophy for any and everything that some of these parents do today. You had a bad day at school, here's a participation trophy. You beat up some kid for no reason, you bully some kid, here's a participation trophy. No. And you gotta admit, some of these parents kind of go overboard with this. Some of these parents are just downright. And the crazy thing is, maybe majority of these parents weren't even raised that way. They weren't raised that way, they weren't done that way, but their parents, they come from the same school of hard knocks that I went through. But they want to try to make their kids' lives better by being their friend. I'm not a friend to my kids. I'm not. Because if you want to invite that friendship level in with your kids, then that's the way they're going to treat you, as like a damn friend. And instead of you being that hardcore parent that you should have been, or that you need to be, or that you were used to be, well, then now your kid is up here stealing and facing theft charges or doing something they got no business doing. And I don't know why that is, because as a parent, and there are some parents out here that really should not have kids. They really shouldn't, because they have kids for all the wrong damn reasons. Oh, he's cute. I see myself having a kid with him. I don't get none of that. I don't. That's just not me. It's not me. Now, granted, sometimes that might work out. Sometimes, but I don't. Here's the thing. If you're going to have kids with somebody, make sure it's somebody that you love, somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can build a life with. Now, it's never going to be an easy road, and I think teen pregnancy may have went down, but I don't know. It seems like it's still going up to me. And I know that we see in other cultures that, especially on IG, Snap, Facebook, that these young girls are pregnant. There's no excuse for that. There's not. The only thing I could think of is that they're not blessed and fortunate in what we have in the USA. And it's sad because we want to try to help everybody. But when we see it on social media that, like, I think there was this one kid that had, he had got a girl pregnant and they were young as shit. Jesus, they were young as shit. And it's like that in the Philippines. In the Philippines, they don't really know enough about sex and contraceptives. They just know that. And the crazy thing is in the Philippines that, you knock a girl up, they off to the next one. And that's way worse than what the shit that goes on over here. But at least we have laws to protect and to get that child support and to put that ass in jail. I'm just saying. But over in some of these other countries, they don't have what we have over here. They don't. So I think we are really fortunate that we're really blessed to have what we have here. Because, the show 16 and Pregnant was just so damn dumb. I could not stand that show. I still can't stand that show. I think it's just a dumbass show. Because it didn't even show the real... Okay, it showed the real people, but if you want to figure out what teen pregnancy is and what it is, I'm not trying to sound racist or rude. Don't go to the white folks. Go to some of these hard-hit areas. Go to black community, Mexican community, and spend the night in there and see how we do it for real, okay? Because that's how we do it. So it's harder for a black parent or Mexican parent than it is a white kid. I'm sorry, y'all can agree with me, disagree, but that's just me. Because when I was watching Teen Mom, some of the girls they had on there, well, their parents were already established and they were established too. They decided they just wanted to get knocked up and start a family. That's just me. That's just me. That's just me. No shade towards white people, nothing like that. But I think that if you want to see something, if you really want to know what the world and what the struggle is like, go to some of these other hard-hit communities, some of these hard-hit areas. But I don't even know if that show's still on. I think I watched maybe 2 seasons of the show, and then I like completely lost interest because I just thought like, and there's this one thing on TLC. I don't even know what that show is called, but this one white girl, she was like, I'm pregnant, told her mom. Her mom was like, well, you can stay here up until the baby's born, but after that you gotta leave. I was like, damn, that's my kind of mind. She was a white woman. So she's like, well, why? She's like, well, I told you, if you ever got pregnant, you can't stay here because it's tight enough as it is. And it is tight. It is tight. You know, it's a lot harder now to have a kid than what it was back in my day. Because back in my day, you could have a kid and money would just be just like that. Money would be good. You know, but now, raising a kid, these kids got so much bullshit now. It's just ridiculous. They got stuff that'll tell you how to... Oh my gosh, it's just ridiculous. I mean, man, it's just so crazy to have a kid now in this day and age. Because if you're not financially stable, probably shouldn't have a kid. But I'm just saying, that's just me. And even if you are financially stable, then having a kid is still a little bit harder. But again, this day and age, like, it's a lot of crazy stuff because the whole gender reveal thing, which is beyond stupid to me, but hey, if that works for y'all, it works for y'all. It don't work for me. I don't give a damn about it. I don't care. But hey, whatever. If that's what y'all want to do, that's what y'all got to do. We had a gender reveal. We had a baby shower. This is getting ridiculous now. God, it's getting ridiculous now. And I'm not really harping on the new age of the way they're doing things. I guess they just don't understand it. You know, you have a whole party, get dressed up, and, you know, you want to pop the balloon, and that's gender reveal. Oh, what happened to the good old days where you just had a party, you had friends over, you had some food. Now it turns into a whole spectacle. You got to get dressed up, dressed down to the 9s or the 1s or whatever, and then you just go to this party. You got a limousine, you got the ice, you got the rapper. Oh, Jesus, Lord have mercy. That was simpler back in my day. Now, not so much. It's crazy work though, right? It's just so crazy, but I can't be mad at them because I guess here's the thing I always tell my kids. If I knew the world would turn out the way it would today, I'd probably try to do things a little bit differently, but I can't, you know? I don't know what I would have done that was different because the world is just, as I sit and talk, it's evolving every minute on the hour, every second of the day. It's just evolving. So I would say that though I'm still kind of set in my ways, but I'm still learning to adapt to the new world order. And adaptation is just not, it's easy for me because, again, I don't have friends and I'm completely fine with that. You know, I love my life. You know, I sit here, I go to work, I come home, I check email, I get on my Xbox, or I do something on the computer or something, or fool around with my plants, or my cat, which is somewhere, maybe not, I don't know. But that's just me. I like the simple life, you know. I love the simple life. If I could go back and give my younger self any notes, I don't know what I would tell my younger self. I don't know. Do you guys ever have thoughts like that? I don't know. So, I didn't even get to reading the questions that people had because I was so wrapped up in this. But it's okay though, you know? I mean, it's okay. So, I think that what I could take from back then and try to use now would be, I don't know, because I think even though I'm pretty set and content on my life, I think I'm happy with where I'm at today. But if I could change anything about my life, I'd probably try to do things differently because, as I said, I was the original owner of surround sound. I know y'all ain't gonna believe me, but it's all good though. But like I said, I'm gonna tell the story anyways. So, my grandfather, who was in the Air Force, would always tinker with electronics and stuff like that. And I kind of picked that bug up from him. And you know, one day, and this is when I was like, oh man, what was I? It's back in high school. And I just hooked the TV up to the stereo and I brought the sound through the speakers. And I showed my mom that. She was excited. She's like, oh my God, how'd you do that? I was like, I just used the aux jacks in the back. I didn't know what they were used for. Honestly, I didn't know. But I wouldn't say I'm the original founder of surround sound, but I was using that premise. And if I'd have known then what I know now, I probably could have done something with it. But then again, it's all good because somebody probably would have knocked me off any damn way. It's all good though. But there's a lot of things, you know, because, you know, now you see people that's inventing things left and right. You know, you got Shark Tank on the hunt, and that's a good thing. So am I jealous of that? No, I don't get jealous over nothing. I don't get jealous over what nobody has. I don't sit there and fantasize what I wish I had and what I wish I didn't, or what I do have, what I don't have. Because there's no point of being that kind of person. If you have to go through life and wishing and clout chasing and try to fabricate a false life of what you think you should have, that's no way to live. Live your life, continue to do things the way you want to do things. If you work hard to achieve those things, you can get those things. Now, being who I am, I love who I am. I love that I am a father. I love that I work, even though I'm working 2 jobs, but it's okay. I still have time for my family. I still have time to interact with my children. And I love that. You know, because my kids, when I go to my second job, they're calling me left and right. Dad, can we do this? Dad, can we do that? And that's what I love about my kids. You know, they respect me and I respect them. You know, they know I don't play and they know they better not cross me. And they haven't, for the most part, crossed me. I mean, you know, you get every now and then, which my daughter, which is a total diva, which she's a handful, but I love her. She's my diva. My diva poo. But it's okay though, you know, because if I could be a parent all over again, I would, and I would still continue to do the same thing I was going to do. And the crazy thing was, I was going to try to be a foster parent, but I had to move out the old place, and I moved into this different place, which this different place is technically has 4 bedrooms, but I don't really have the space. But if I can offer anybody any advice, would just to be yourself. If you're not content on where you are in life, work for it. Get to where you want to be by working hard for it. Don't settle for anything or anybody. Don't let nobody tell you how you should just go in and just take it and do this. No, you continue to work hard for it, because this is what I tell my kids. You're not entitled to anything. If you work hard for it, then you can achieve it and you can get what you want. But don't feel like you're entitled to any and everything. And I think that's the problem with some of these kids today. They feel like they're entitled. They feel like they want this, or they need, or they deserve it. No. If you work for it, then that makes you a lot more happy. Because if you're working for it, then at the end of the day, when you come home and you look and see what you got, like, oh man, I did this. Yeah, I did this. And a lot of this stuff today is just like, it's like, who has the bigger bank? Now, as you guys know, I'm somewhere in between. I'm not rich, I'm not poor, but I'm somewhere in between. And I'm content with that. I'm good with that. Because I still work hard every day, and I still thank God that I'm allowed to get up to go to work every day, and that He blesses me every day to go to work. So, at the end of the day, I am happy about who I am. I may not look like $1 million, but I damn sure feel like $1 million every day when I'm waking up and thanking God and going to work. And I've always had more than one job. So even when I was younger, I had 3 jobs at one point. And this is before I had kids. This is when I got married, and I just, I love to work. I love to work. I love to take care of my family. I love to, for me being me. Now listen, I know to some women I'm not much to look at, and I'm completely fine with that. And I'm totally fine with that. And I don't take it personal when a woman says, oh, you're not hot enough for me, you're not attractive enough. You know, I've been told by plenty of women that I was boring, I'm not thug enough, I'm not hood enough. And that's okay. That's okay. Fellas, if a woman tells you that, don't change anything about yourself. If anything, improve yourself. Improve yourself to a point where they will desire you down the road and be like, oh my God, I really passed up on a good one, didn't I? Because I'm going to give you an example. That damn balloon pop, where these women come in and just bash these men because of their judgment on what he looks like and not knowing the real him. Well, that could be you. That could be you. But then when they get the story, and then someone like, oh, well, I shouldn't really pop my balloon, you know. But you can't please everybody. You're not put on this earth to please anybody. You're on this earth because God wants you to live your life. You live your life, live your best life, and be happy with living your life. Now, we're not going to always get it right, but it's a learning process. Every day is a learning process. To me, I'm still learning, and I love learning. But I would say to men, just continue to be yourself. Don't get down on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself, because I know that some women want a real man, but some of these women walk around with a lot of fake stuff on. Fake eyelashes, fake hair, fake boobs or whatever. And to me, that's not hot. Why would you want to alter what God has already given you? So beauty is definitely in the eye of the beholder. Now, I'm a simple guy myself. I like a woman who's natural beauty. I don't like a lot of makeup. I don't like nails. I don't like none of that. But if she wants to get her nail and hair done, that's fine. Just keep your real hair. I don't care. Your hair could be short as mine. I would still think of you as a beautiful queen. I really would. So there's no point of you going in there and trying to alter what God has put in front of you. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for hearing me out. This is kind of like, not really a rant and rave, but just kind of like one of those podcasts just out there. And just, you know, but that's just me. So I think on the next show, we'll probably be back to discussing more things. Because I still have like, oh man, I got quite a bit left. I think I have 8 of them that I haven't went through yet. But these things just keep coming through, but keep them coming. And listen, to my listeners, if I don't get to your letter, you can feel free to email me and just to say, hey, you know, you haven't really talked about my letter. Are you going to get to it? You want to talk about it? And if you guys want to come on the show and talk about it with me, I'm more than willing to listen. I'm more than willing to listen. So, as I said before, you guys have been great. I appreciate everything you guys have done. I appreciate all the positive emails that you guys send me. The positive is what I live for. The negative, you can't really have the negative without the positive, or vice versa. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to mix my words up. But hey, that's what it is. But that's what it is. So, as we get ready to close this podcast out, I want to say thank you again. Thank you for letting me bend your ear for about 1 minute and 15 minutes. I'm sorry, 1 hour and 15 minutes. See? Time for me to go to bed, y'all. But I want to thank you guys. I really do. You guys have been great. I appreciate everything you guys have done. Appreciate all the support. And as we get ready to take this out, we're going to let you guys listen to Mimi Bagar. I don't know. Mimi Bagar. I don't know. And yes, there's a listener that asked about my tracks. I'm on a site called Epidemic Sound, where the music is royalty free, and I wish I did too. But I'm going to let you guys ride out with this track. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, my friends, y'all take care of yourself and each other.
Yeah, she thought she could do anything, thought she could get anywhere. Confident she's number one, and if nothing, everybody's wrong. Used to be calm, now I can't remember how I used to do it that I was a member of Confidence Club, cause that don't last forever. I wish I saw what she saw. I wish I knew what she knew. I love how she just owned it, but sadly I've outgrown it. I know I'm still that girl, but I don't know how to show it. Like she knew, like she knew, she knew, she knew. Wasn't really ready, no, I had to grow up, but it's so heavy and I'm feeling low. Unlearning all that was wrong for me. And I wish somebody would've should've warned it. No, they did, but I kept ignoring. Didn't wanna have to face it, but if I don't know, it's gonna break me. Oh, yeah, she thought she could do anything, thought she could get anywhere. Confident she's number one, and if nothing, everybody's wrong. Used to be calm, now I can't remember how I used to do it. That I was a member of Confidence Club, cause that don't last forever. I wish I saw what she saw. I wish I knew what she knew. I love how she just don't know, but sadly I've outgrown it. I know I'm still that girl, but I don't know how to show it. Like she knew, like she knew, she knew, she knew. It's like sitting in a boat, wondering if it is going to float. Now that I've packed all my things, is there anything else I should know? Yeah, all that shit that I can't. When the baggage is heavy, maybe I got reason to worry. Please don't tell me I got reason to worry now.
Jag kollar dig hela tiden. Hej, hej. Nu ska jag zooma in dig lite så att jag kommer närmare dig. Då kan du säga hej mamma.
Hej mamma.
Hej pappa.
Hej pappa.
You've been listening to Icon with Let's Talk About It. Please follow me on TikTok, Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for spending time with me today. Always remember, I can't control life, but I can control how I react to it. Stay sharp, and I'll see you soon.
She